Date is May 22nd, 2020, Friday. The time is approximately 9:33 a.m. and I'm about to call CBC Aaron Broham. There's a camera right there. I'm concerned that I know I'm being subject to a powers of attorney fraud, a major fraud, and it's going to have to do with the Patrick Chief Kershane homicide and obituary, where I had belief that they were making fake families, possibly even police investigators posing as families, and crimes are being committed, and they're coming in saying they're the family trying to commit whatever fraud are possible, and that's what I'm making of this Darius. If they don't bring Darius forward with his parents and that guy that had him there, then I'm alleging this is the police doing this, and they're involved in a high-level conspiracy, and there is a motive of money behind there. So if they don't find Darius, and Darius was to be raped or murdered behind there, and all of a sudden some fucking fake family came out of nowhere, but meanwhile little Darius is from, let's say, CFS, or he's a victim of human trafficking throughout Canada, yet if he would have been murdered, some family would have came forward to try and claim everything, and you name it. So I'm going to put this one down. Quit blocking off my, so the number I'll be calling is 204-801-3652. I have my Sony digital voice recorder. I'm going to call now.
Messaging system. Aaron Broham is not available. At the tone, please record your message. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Hi Aaron Broham, this is Curtis Hastings calling. Today's date is May 22nd, Friday. The time's approximately 9:30. I'm just calling from my cell phone. You have the number. I called you about an incident regarding a young child by the name of Darius. I reported as suspicious. The police have failed to contact or make any efforts in identifying this young man and the suspicious males. I have reason to believe, I spoke to you, that this may be a human trafficking case. And I'm going to relate this case. It's probably by the same people that made the obituary of Patrick Chief Kershane. What it looks like is people are being killed, and they're not at, I don't know exactly, but I'm thinking fraud. So the Patrick Chief Kershane obituary would suggest that someone within the policing had made that obituary before a family was identified. And then when these major investigations occur, or they're going to pay someone out, these police investigators or intelligence are attempting to defraud the suspects and probably the families. So in some cases, families could be missing, and there could be fraud just taking over it, right? So I'm concerned that the reason the police have not brought Darius forward is because he's probably a victim of high-level trafficking, human trafficking, like throughout Canada. Like he could have been in a CFS care in another province, right? Brought here for this incident. And I don't want to go into the details, but this stuff looks a bit premeditated here. It is. I'm not going to lie, it is. So I'm concerned that no one's coming forward because there's no real parents here. And if anything would have happened to young Darius, 5 to 6 years old, all of a sudden there would have been parents that would have came forward here. It would have been a nightmare case, and they would have got compensated by, you get what I'm saying? So I'm concerned that the persons that authored the Patrick Chief Kershane obituary, and I could be wrong about it, but I highly doubt it. Read the obituary, and it looks like the persons that authored it were trying to leave a hint of evidence that there was no evidence of Patrick Chief Kershane. There's also details in that obituary that correspond to incidents in my life. And the incidents involve certain people, meaning the person that made that obituary, if it is illegal, I can probably pinpoint who made the obituary. With that being said, I don't want to comment on it too much, just in case. You never know what comes out, right? So, I'll leave it at that. You have my number. Another reason I called you is because you work for the government in Canada. CBC is a government institution. So I would hope at this point you get my message. I'm going to the legislative building today to deliver a complaint or talk to someone. This should probably be on CNN. There's a missing boy, is what I'm going to say. And I'm in fear of my life and in Darius's life that he's been at the hands of human traffickers. So the reason I called you is because I have contacted the RCMP, the FBI, Winnipeg Police, you name it, Child's Advocate, you once already. If you're not interested in this story, given some of the things that I'm going on about it, given that your license plate, well, not your license plate, but the license plate was almost identical, just the same numbers and letters just went off. And there's some other issues going on. I would suggest this is probably a major corruption case against the government. But I'll leave it at that. You know my number. Give me a call when you get a chance, and I'll talk to you when I get. And to let you know, I also created I'm going to make a LIRA complaint, but I'm going to deliver it to the Manitoba Legislative Building. I'm going to bring it to the attention of Deputy Premier Heather Stephenson. The Premier's office, Pallister, have been unresponsive to anything I say. They're kind of, Heather's office, the deputy, or her people have been kind, and they're always, answering my questions the best they could. So I'm going to take this concern to them. And I'm going to ask that if Darius is not brought forward with his parents and the persons that I saw, then that this is most likely, like I said, a human trafficking case. So I'll leave it at that. Okay, bye. So I'll leave it at that. I just wanted to call the media. The police have no interest in this case. And like I said, there's my neighbor right there. She's out there. I just wanted to report this. But you heard everything I had to say. I'm going to go and make some more calls here. And I'm going to get off to this complaint. And I'm going to try and go see the media. And that's what this should be, is a media complaint. Not trying to get an emergency. I don't know. I'm going to put it through LIRA. But again, I'm getting concerned that human trafficking, major fraud here is what I discovered. Conspiracy level corruption on behalf of the police. The obituary will tell you that, are the police capable of a crime like that? Not necessarily police. I would say the police, actually. Are they capable of a crime against a little child like that? To blame Curtis? And when I say a crime, I don't think they're going to just sexually assault the boy. Hopefully it's not that bad. But I think, given the way he was dressed, a heavy sweater, I'm concerned that he was sitting in a house, in a room with that white guy and that East Indian man, and they're waiting to sexually assault him. That pedophiles, or he could be a pedophile or sex offender. And when I walked over to my house, the reason that boy was in his sweater is because what if he was sleeping or he was wearing his underwear watching TV? And they're like, oh, let's go. They rush over, I come walking. I was supposed to go walking through that path. The van probably pulled up in a hurry. I seen it. I didn't feel comfortable. I went the other way. I caught it. I seen another suspicious incident around Dollarama about a month or two ago. So I'm scared that people are driving around with children on their floor seats wearing just sweaters and shoes, waiting for me to walk by for them to assault them. And the scary part is just, hopefully they ID Darius and get his parents involved and the concerned parties. But what if Darius was some boy that is in child family government care somewhere in Canada, not even Manitoba, coming through, here we go, we're staying, oh, look. And then the family comes forward, corrupt family from a reserve that's involved in corruption with the police, right? So you're getting my concern why I'm panicking, right? And if they're not bringing Darius forward, and a conspiracy this fucking big, like not just, I'm not saying this is a conspiracy, I'm not saying that just yet, but the things I'm going on about on the side, and if something like this comes to me, and ever since this has happened, this has got my full attention, obviously I'm worried. I'm that concerned that something's going to happen to that kid, so there's that.